So today's drill is a little bit about becoming a bit more aware of how the wrist should work in the golf swing, and in particular at two certain parts of the swing that I think can really confuse a lot of golfers. And to try and make it a little simpler, what we're actually going to do is, rather than thinking exclusively about how the wrists work, we're going to focus a little bit more for the right-handed golfers on how the left hand works. So you'll notice what we've done here is we've just got a glove and I've just put a tee inside the glove, and this is going to give you a really good reference on these two checkpoints. Now, the first sort of issue that we tend to see with a lot of golfers is really that first foot of the backswing, and whereby when we start off in our address position with a little bend in the left wrist, very quickly we see players flattening out this left wrist, and as a result really pulling the club back in on the inside too much, so the wrist can work incorrectly, this kind of manner, much too fast. So what I'd like you just to think about if you do this drill with the tee in the glove is, you can see whatever bend I've got in that left wrist due to how my left hand goes on the club, try and focus on just maintaining that as we start back. So with the tee there, we don't want the tee to move away from your watch face too quickly. So you can see, done incorrectly, the tee moves away from that watch face too fast. We want to ideally try and keep that at a constant there just as we start the swing. And if I can do that, that helps for me now to keep the hands somewhat inside of the club head at this point, and also to keep the club face in a nice neutral position. The second bit where golfers can get in a muddle is the start down, and too often times we see as players start the downswing, the left wrist starts to bend or cup, if you like, and as a result opens up this club face. So incorrectly at the start down, the tee now would move closer to the watch face. Okay, whereas what we'd ideally like to happen as we start down is to feel like the tee would actually move somewhat away from the watch face, so the wrist would work more in this manner. What that does is it's really twofold. Number one, it's going to help us start to square up the club face, and number two, it also helps to shallow the club shaft a little bit in preparation for a better delivery of the club to the ball. So get your glove, pop a tee in there. We're going to work on two movements. Number one, as we start the backswing, we're going to make sure that the gap between the tee and the watch face stays nice and constant to start with. We don't want that to widen too early. As you can see, that pulls that club too in behind my hands too quickly. And then from the top of the swing, what we're going to look for is, again, as we're starting down, now we want to make the gap wider between the tee peg and the watch face. You can see the wrist working differently. What we definitely don't want as we start down is this sort of motion, bending the wrist and getting the tee too close to that watch face. So two critical areas of the swing to keep your eye on. This is a really good way of helping you do it.